Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks?
Welcome to the Cam Shenanigans podcast.
You mean Shenanigans? Oh! You're talking about Shenanigans, right?
Where Mike, Trent, and Zach, and a guest will debate all things automotive.
Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Make sure to check out Cam Automag on all the social medias at Cam Automag. And don't forget to support our sponsor, Hustle Energy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the shenanigan-filled shenaniganry podcast that is Cam Shenanigans. I figure I should probably try to do a different intro than I did for the Camcast. I don't know.
What's up? It's your boy, Zach Lord. As always, my man, my hero, the legend, the one and the only, Michael Chandler! Woo!
Also, proud supporter of my local PBS station. What's up? Just got my member card in the mail. Way to be a good guy.
As well, too.
Damn right. You have something for Devin? If you don't,
He's
that's
the
okay.
craziest. He's the illest. It's Devin Crazy Crazy! Woo! My roommates probably fucking hate me!
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. Mike and Zach were joined by Devin from Dr. Garage, MB Drift, dude with a Corolla with a Volvo axle.
Yep, that'd be me.
Wait, you have a
And a-
Corolla?
It's a Hachiroku.
Yep. And he's got,
Hottie!
there it is. Picked himself up another one. It's an addiction. It's like heroin, except worse.
I have too many, and you know the worst part is like the parts car. I sit there and I walk past it in the garage all the time. It's still sitting there. I've got like most of it torn apart, but I look at it and I go, man, I know how rotted this car is, and I know I bought it for parts, but there's a part of me that goes, you know, with enough time in sheet metal, you could probably save this car. I know how terrible of an idea that is, but I still I'm at that point where all I've got left is to start cutting the car up, and I just have the hardest time bringing myself to do it.
Oh, man, you're a stronger man than I.
Okay.
Stronger man than I.
I hate that you live like a million miles away. Because I see all the time where it's like, oh, I got this thing up for grabs. Like you had a TV up for grabs a couple days ago.
It's still up for grabs. I've had two people say they wanted it, and then they haven't said anything back. So,
Well, I'm over here like, oh, I need a new TV. Oh, I can just message. No, he lives like a million miles away.
that's it right there. This is the TV. It's literally been sitting here for
Will you
like
ship it?
2 years. The cost to ship it, you could go buy one at Best Buy.
Oh, don't we have like things we would talk about? Like, oh, we're on all the social medias.
Yeah, let me go ahead and take care of this one.
Probably better at it than I am.
Yeah. Go ahead and find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, wherever podcasts are available. Just search Cam Shenanigans. We'll pop up. Like, rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. That's how we gain heat. That's how we get to do stuff. And that's how we have more sponsors other than our great sponsor, Hustle Energy. What's up, Dash? How you doing? And yeah, tune in every Monday evening, 7 p.m. our time, 7:15 Mountain, 9:15 Devon time, 4:15 Hawaiian. Finally had somebody in Honolulu correct me. So, thank you. But yeah, there we go. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. It is where we be, popping off with the nonsense. Come in the chat, get rowdy. Let us know. So, yeah. Well, do we want to do any catching up? Because I mean, I showed up late, so I didn't get to do my little pre-podcast chat I usually do with Zach.
Yeah, we always have a little like debrief and like catch up. It's so sweet. Like I genuinely look forward to it every week. Like
Yeah,
I hop on like 30 minutes early just for you.
Aw. Yeah, I was trying to get on quicker, but I had to make burgers for the family, so that was unfortunately that took a little bit too much time. So, because what I ended up doing is I watched a couple of Burger Show episodes. George Motes is back. He made a a steakhouse burger, which got me thinking. So at 10:30 in the morning, I knew exactly what I was doing for dinner. And then, damn right you are, John. John, you are podcast. And hell yeah, Dash is coming to visit in March. Shit yeah.
Okay, Dash, I know I just can't see you in the parking lot. I saw you last time. You have to come and talk to me this time.
Yeah, you got it.
I came out and I'm like, oh look at it, it's Joey, and Brodash, what are you doing in my driveway?
Dude, we'll go, man. Like, let us know what your itinerary is. We need to go do something fun. Go to round one, or go catch tetanus at Nickelmania or Nickelcade somewhere.
Yes,
Candycade.
I know that if you tell Mike what your itinerary is, he will make an effort to be there, because every time I come to town and say, hey, let's go get tacos or something, he is usually there.
Yep, unless something comes up. But Andrew, we do need AJ here, but I think he might be doing other stuff. He's got the fiance. He's got a life of his own. He's got a beater ass Impala.
Oh, you were talking about food, and I could talk about food a little bit too.
Okay.
I mealed for myself for the first time in a very long time.
Nice.
And it was fancy. I took a photo of it to send to this girl I'm talking to, because I wanted to look cool and sophisticated and just general things like
Zach, mac and cheese out of a box isn't fancy.
No. Okay. It was tortellini, Alfredo sauce, large chunks of prosciutto.
Ooh, okay.
Because you can go to Harmon's and get like thick, like an number 8 piece of prosciutto.
Yeah,
they'll
just whack you off a hunk of that stuff.
Oh yeah. The price raised. The last time it was like $5 a slice, and now it's like $9 a slice. So
yeah, listen, it's a very expensive. The more you got to do to the animal after it's dead, the harder, the more expensive it's gonna get.
Oh yeah, but it was really good. The Alfredo sauce really brings down the saltiness of the prosciutto, and it was really good. And I sent that photo to the girl, and she thought it looked really good. And
hell yeah! Well, there you go.
The whole point of it. I cooked a meal so I could show off to a girl.
Attaboy. Listen, that's what I had to do. I pointed out to I put it on Facebook that I'm single for the first time in the better part of a decade, and I have no idea what the fuck to do. And so Brandon Kuhn was just like, well, I mean, people use their cooking skills to impress the ladies, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess.
Brandon.
Sure. But I am thinking probably on a Saturday night, a friend of the program, Christian Murphy, his band, the 1 2 Minis, they're going to be having a show at the Ice House down there in Murray. So I think I'm gonna go check that out.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
I honestly might go, because I've been dying to go see one of these shows.
Hell yeah, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see. Yeah, Andrew, if you want to see AJ get spicy, Thursday for the Twitch Thursday, which is now available on platforms other than Twitch, we are going to be doing some Forza 7 racing, because that's currently what I have hooked up to the Elgato and therefore to the PC, and I don't like getting underneath my desk to deal with my horrific cable management. So that is what we're doing. Probably tomorrow night I'm going to hop on and try to figure out what to do. So, I mean, if anybody wants to help me test out tracks and cars, let me know. Let me know. All right. So, Devin, you got anything?
I still got a bunch of black garlic I need to ship you, so you can try a bet it all on black burger.
Damn. And figure out other ways I can just shoehorn black garlic into things.
It was like the first black garlic, because I made myself 2 that night that I tried the bet it all on black burger, right? So the first one was a test to make sure it was actually good. I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. So the next one I put a little bit more of the black garlic spread on it, and it was really strong. I didn't quite puree the black garlic very well, so there were some chunks in there.
That'll do it. That's a problem.
And that flavor, when you just get a big fat chunk of black garlic, I tell you what, man, it just that's a bit much.
Just a whole lot.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Just getting it through.
Yep.
Let's see. Blizzard just released Rock and Roll Racing. You got to play that. Okay, I mean, we'll put it on the list probably for the end of next month when I get some time to actually experiment, because that's where the driving games, the racing games, that's kind of where they're falling. Just because I like to have those planned out a little bit more instead of just our usual nonsense of, well, what are we going to do? I don't know.
What is Rock and Roll Racing? I have to look this up.
Yes.
Also, Dash, if you bring the R32 to Utah, let me know. I would be down to get some photos.
He is flying up, and he's only in for a couple of days.
Oh, did I not read that properly? Hold on, make sure.
It's all right.
He said next time he's going to bring the R32.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
dude.
apparently I don't know how to read, so that's fine.
It's all right.
Is this a re-release of an old racing game?
Probably. Let's see.
Like
He's going to be. He says he's going to be streaming it sometime this week, so I'll have to come check it out. Yeah, it's twitch.tv/ I believe -bullet train. Feel free to correct me. But yeah, just let us know. We'll put it out there for the people to see. Just don't do it on Thursday. Don't. We're already here. We've already established it. So I'll come out there and I will aggressively pet your dog.
Aww.
That's the worst threat I've got. I'm just gonna aggressively pet his dog, but not like real aggressive, just like a little too hard, and then I'm gonna back off because I'll feel bad.
I did have something I did want to talk about. Slightly more sombering. Will did just get on surgery.
Oh yes.
So for those who don't know, Will was admitted to the ER yesterday morning. Tesla Will, for a blood clot in his shoulder. And they're basically like, yeah, it's really bad. If it moves and goes to your brain or your lungs, you will die. Go home and sleep really well, and we'll have surgery tomorrow.
Okay.
So I ended up spending the night on his floor in his room. So if something did happen, I could be there to take care of things. But everything was great. I slept like absolute shit, but I was doing it for a good cause. But he got out of surgery about an hour ago. He's doing well. They might have to go back in and actually remove a rib.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least they got the clots out, so that's good. That's blood clots are fucking scary. That's something we had to deal with after my mom's surgery. She just like a lot of clots kept coming up. So yeah.
Well, it's weird too because Will is like the healthiest guy I know. You've seen Will. He's like he's built like a skinny shit brick house, like a brick or a brick urinal or something. Like he's just
there it is.
But he like does ballet and shit like that. He's
Tesla Will, the brick urinal.
The brick urinal.
I love it. We're gonna make that a thing.
Make that a shirt. Tesla Will, the brick urinal.
I mean, at this point, shirts are a bit too much of a pain in the ass. I keep getting the emails from Sticker Mule, so next time like some sticker deal comes through, or like buttons or something.
I want Tesla Will, the brick urinal button.
Yeah, I'll make it happen. See what I can do.
But yeah, I'll update you guys next week to see, let you guys know how he's doing. But he should make a full recovery.
Yeah, we like Will. He's a friend of the program. Good dude. So yeah, wish him all the best and glad he's doing well. So, all right. Do we have any other pleasantries we get into before I go on my quasi rant? And then we get into a very subtle and nuanced conversation about things because this is not drive time fucking radio in the 90s. We're actually going to talk.
I am so excited for it. I kind of want. So I already told you guys the funny story over the weekend, but maybe I should share it publicly because it was funny.
Yes.
Well, funny to me anyway. So over the weekend, MB Drift, we're out here in the Carolinas, right? Mm-hmm. So we're holding drift events at the Rock or Rockingham Speedway, which is this old famous NASCAR track that's been decommissioned for a long time, right? Or hasn't had any racing activity. So we were really excited because we did a live stream last week on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and Pat Gooden commented on the Instagram, "Hey, I'm coming out," and we're sitting there like Marshall, the guy who owns MB Drift, his wife is like freaking out like behind the camera. We're like, what the heck's going on? And she writes on a piece of paper and she's like, Pat Gooden is coming. And we're like,
blessed by the king of spring break.
Like this is awesome. Like we're so excited, right? And then at the event, I'm talking to him. And so he was borrowing a car. He was co-driving a car with his buddy Alex. All right. So we're gonna leave it at just his buddy Alex for right now.
Just some fucking dude.
This dude named Alex. And so I'm sitting there talking. He was like, yeah, I was watching the live stream and I was sitting there. I was out having a drink. And I was like, man, I really want to drive at that event. And he's like, that's close to Alex, but I'm not gonna ask Alex to drive his car. I'm not gonna ask him if I can drive his car. And then he's like, a couple drinks later, then I was like, hey man, I'm gonna come drive your car.
As is the Pat Gooden way. A couple of drinks later, and here we are.
And so I'm sitting here like I meet his buddy Alex. I'm like, oh hey dude, like you seem pretty cool. I'm gonna talk to this pro drifter right here because I'm really excited about this. But Alex was wearing this like Valvoline race suit, like super serious. And I'm like, man, this guy takes this really seriously. Who is this guy? So I had no idea. The next morning, so that was Saturday. Sunday morning, I find out that was Alex Bowman, NASCAR Cup driver, like the one that started driving the Intimidator, the number 88, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. car after he retired, right?
Yep.
And I had no idea. So he flew. So he drifted all day with us on Saturday, and then he left Charlotte at like 5 o'clock in the morning, flew to Daytona, and started racing at Daytona at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Holy fuck! Okay.
God. And he took 10th.
Wow.
He took 10th. So just blew my mind. And I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh! I sit here like I totally I unintentionally ignored this NASCAR driver who's like a huge, a big deal because I didn't know because I don't follow NASCAR because I wanted a fanboy about the professional drifter. And now I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, Devin, you're an idiot. You were just rubbing elbows with 2 professional drivers over the weekend.
One of whom doesn't have. I mean, listen, Alex Bowman, the showman. That's a hell of a nickname, but you cannot beat Pat, the king of spring break. Good. All right. I will die on that hill.
And it was super cool hanging out with them. We told Pat, like we offer discounts for people who are Pro 2, which is now a Pro Spec license, or FD license, Pro 1, because we'd love to have those people at our events. And so I'm talking to Pat, and he used to run all the events out of OSW in Florida. And he's like, dude, I have no problems paying full price. I know how hard it is to make any kind of profit at a grassroots event. Like, I don't need a discount. I just thought that was the coolest thing. Like I don't know how much of a discount we can give people, right? Because we're still trying to make money to add paving. But it was cool that we offered, and he was like, no, like, you need to take my money.
Oh, yeah. Like, anybody who's actually had to, like, run a thing, like, be it events or a business or whatever, like, they know, they're like, no. I'm paying you full price because I know how much of a pain in the ass it is. Anybody who comes up asking for a discount, or if they start showing up because the only reason is because you offer them a discount, you're never going to see them again.
Well, we learned that with, like, Aaron Losey and stuff.
What do you mean?
What about him?
Well, he talked about that same kind of stuff, too.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he's
a different level for sure, but
it's a very different, like what he's talking about doing, because I remember him specifically saying he's offering discounts for like Drift Week stuff. Like that's kind of a different thing. Like it's not necessarily like, it's kind of a spectacle that he's trying to, get eyeballs on to get the next one going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily want just a bunch of pros showing up for just like a one-off drift thing, and then suddenly, like, your, entry count drops by half for like next month's event. It's, yeah. Anyway, well, speaking of events and things, something happened recently that we have all, at least a lot of us have seen. Earthquake in Japan. No nuclear problems. However, Ebisu, the legendary circuit, was hit rather hard by it. Devin is sad.
I am sad.
I think most of the community is really sad by it.
Yeah, like, I mean, Ebisu is a place, like, I mean, it is one of the few tracks that has a thing named after a person. Because I remember you take that little left at the top of the hill before you come down and ride the wall. As long as I can remember, that has been called the Hibino jump, because Hibino in his little fucking Corolla would just yeet it off that fucking thing, all 4 wheels off, land, ride the wall, and down he'd go.
Man, he is an amazing driver.
He is a hero.
I remember watching like some of the first videos of people jumping there and watching him and his little 8.6 just like woof, just launch off of it, and you're like, oh my gosh, as the car in front of him that's got way more power and is like way faster is like one wheel like, and he's all four wheels off and landing, and just and then riding the wall, and you're like, man, what an animal. Ugh.
Yeah, like it's insane. Like there is a lot of history at Ebisu. Like a lot of the video, a lot of people from around the world go to Ebisu because that is a place. I mean, Power Vehicles is there, so you can buy a car and then drift with D1 heroes, video here, like all these people that we came up watching. Like this is where they are. I mean,
even like me, I'm a little bit younger than you guys, and so I grew up with more like the Nordardo Alex stuff, the Lexi stuff.
Yeah,
and like just seeing him go there and just like the community that he was able to show, and like it's impressive. And like I think everyone like dreams to go there at some point. I know Devin's talked about it. I think every time he's been on the podcast, he's talked about wanting to go to it.
Yeah,
I have a Saphiro. I bought a Saphiros. It's sitting there. It is waiting for me. And then COVID hit. Yeah, it's you think about drifting, and drifting as a whole, as far as motorsports go, we're outcasts. I know, like I talked about it before when we tried to get a new venue because the Myrtle Beach Speedway closed last year. Trying to get drifters into a new track is so incredibly difficult because we're seen as the dirty drift kids. We're coming, we're going to ruin the track, we're going to ruin the surface, we're going to leave a mess behind. We're just out there to party and ruin everything, right? That's kind of what people think. We destroy the track surface because we're out there doing, we're just out there skidding around and leaving tire marks. And so that's the kind of this type of impression that you have to get past. And it is so hard to get past that. And we don't really have, I look at it and I go, drifters don't really have a place to call home in a sense, right? A lot of drift organizations travel around, or they'll start at one track and go to another because, they have a hard time keeping a relationship with the track because the other motorsports there that make more money for the track are like, hey, we don't want those guys. They're ruining our stuff. And really drifting doesn't ruin the track. And I can go on and on about that. But when you think about the history of drifting, the one famous motorsports complex, because Ebisu is more than just one track. The one famous motorsports place that we have that drifting could honestly call home. I would say it's Ebisu.
Yeah, I mean, like it is a thing that was birthed in the mountains of Japan. Hi, Gaming Sniper. Thank you for the sub. It was birthed in the mountains of Japan. Just guys wanting to go out and have fun, do something a little different. And then, like Ebisu, it is, if you look at it from anything other than an in-car, just like trackside thing. Well, even trackside stuff, there's a lot of elevation change. Like it is nestled up in this mountain, and like it really has the vibes of where you were.
Yeah, to the chat.
There it is.
Well, it's not even an understatement to call like Ebisu kind of like the mecca of the drifting world. Like it's a place where everyone wants to go. You can even call it the home in some sense. Like a lot of like the techniques and people who are now famous because of drifting got their start in Ebisu or around Ebisu.
It's the closest you're going to find to the origins of drifting, as far as like if you're tracing drifting all the way back to its beginning. It's the closest, motorsports facility that you'll get to the origin, because you've got the Ebisu Toge course, right? And it essentially is a mountain pass circuit, a short uphill, downhill. And
you can really just pin on the map and be like, this is where it started, more or less. Like that's ground zero.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Dash just dropped something in the chat there. That's
the thing that blew my mind when I visited Ebisu, he went in 2019, was the surrounding nature. It's surrounded just by beautiful mountains and hills deep in the countryside. Watching online, I never realized how peaceful of an area it was. And like in a country where there's not a lot of country, it's away from everything. It's not like, it's not like here. I look out every time I go to UMC. I mean, just the homes are getting closer and closer. And I know what that usually means.
No.
It is the encroachment of, it's one of those things. It's like you think you're far enough away, but society finds a way to come get you and ruin your fun. You know, I mean, even if you were there first, the people are going to complain. I mean, look at Laguna Seca. Look at the crazy ass Laguna Seca pipes that people have to put on their car. And even if one person's too loud, at any of the given things, they have to shut stuff down and make sure everybody will pass the decibel test.
You know, and it's crazy. It's like I've started to talk to a few investors because I mean, my dream would be to own a racetrack or run a racetrack and just live at it, right? So like Gingerman is incredible in Michigan because the owners live at the track pretty much, right? And it's tucked away in the woods in Michigan. It's a beautiful area, just super cool. And the track is awesome. It's got elevation change, but they just live there and they love it, right? And so I started, reaching out to a few potential investors. And every single one of them said, okay, so if this is what you want to do, you need a plan for an area that's going to expand in growth. So you can buy this big plot of land for cheap. You could do racing on it and make your money back. And then you can sell the land for real estate and make a huge profit. And I'm like, well, that's not my business model. I want to keep the racetrack and continue to use it to make money. And they're like, nah, we're not interested in that.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're looking at how am I just going to make money off this thing? Mm-hmm. It's like that. It's like that. That's not what we're looking for here. Anyway, we're starting to get into the weeds here. But so Ebisu, I believe, what was it? The school circuit was buried, and then
the skid pad up top, or
the school circuit or driftland up at the top. That's where the landslide started. So the earthquake caused a landslide from that went down into Nishi circuit, which is not necessarily a drift track, but more racing, right? So I think they do a lot of motorcycles, and so the school course, the edge of the school course is collapsed and gone down with the landslide, which then all this dirt and debris and everything came down and landed on Nishi. And I was reading one of the latest posts from the Ebisu Circuit Facebook page, and they said a lot of their service roads are cracked and crumbling. And there's a lot more damage than just that, which, if you think about it, well, that makes sense. There's a landslide in the area. Of course, it's going to cause issues for the entire area, not just that one spot.
Yeah, like the earth moved in a way that it was not that nobody really thought it was gonna. So everything on top of it, it got considerably fucked up. And that's just how it is. Oh no. Devin's plugging in wire. There we go.
He's back.
There it is. I got
my headset said it talked to me and said battery low. So I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, you have one of those sexy headsets?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got concerned because the look on your face. Anyway, so yeah, people saw the destruction that happened, and understandably, a lot of people were like, well, how can I help? Like GoFundMe's were set up, all that stuff. People were sending money to get this icon in our community rebuilt back to where it was. However, as Professor Emeritus Dave pointed out on the momentous day of my brother's birth, if some of y'all cared about your local tracks like you do Ebisu, your local scene would be so much better. Some dudes that complain about $100 event fee will dump $100 into a GoFundMe for a track they'll never visit. Say what you will about Dave, but he can be a tremendous asshole, but sometimes where is he wrong?
So can I play devil's advocate on this one?
Yes, play devil's advocate, and then I kind of want to yell at people because
Because I 100% agree with what Dave is saying.
Yes.
Totally. I'm not trying to disagree with that.
Yeah.
But also, we did just spend the past 15 minutes sucking the ever-loving dick of Ebisu.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Like we said, it's the birthplace. It's like when Notre Dame caught fire. Millions of dollars flooded into that for people. Same thing. We're never going to see it, or even have a 1% understanding of the historical significance of that place. But it's still an icon. And so like I still get what Dave is saying, because like don't fucking bitch about like your own local stuff, because like
Yeah.
your local
Like-
stuff was bred off of this thing that you
Yeah, like we
idolize.
we're doing what we're doing because some dudes in Japan decided that this is what they were gonna do.
Some dude
And they
said,
put-
I want to go slidey.
Yeah.
Hand me the welder. I need to get fucked.
You know, and it's like when Dave first posted that, I was like, yeah, because you know, here in the Carolinas, like the last we now had 2 events at Rockingham, right? The first one's kind of invite only to try and keep it low key, and the second one that we had over the weekend was open invite. And there was a bunch of people who were like, well, you say you're going to add paving later in the year, so I'll come out when you've added paving. I'm like, no, we can't add paving unless you come out.
Yeah.
We need you there. So I was like, yeah, Dave. But then I sat here and went, you know what? Like, I would happily donate $100 or more to Ebisu because everything we just talked about. You know, it holds such significance to me because of the love and passion I have for drifting. I will happily donate money or whatever I can, resources, whatever they need, to whatever I can afford to do my part to restore the birthplace, you know, the closest to birthplace of drifting as there is.
Yeah.
And I would happily do that. But I also agree with Dave. Like,
Yeah,
man, why do you complain about $100 entry fee? Like the other day, it was a couple weeks ago, somebody was like, you charge for ride-alongs at the Salt City Drift events? Like, you charge for ride-alongs?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And I was like, well, hang on now. You've never been out to a Salt City Drift event. Otherwise, you would realize that they cannot charge for spectators. The only money that Salt City Drift can make is from driver fees and and ride-alongs, right? That's the only 2 ways, because to get into the track, you don't need to pay any money.
Yeah,
Well,
like
and
it's
for like me, who I've never drifted, never had a car to go take drifting, or I guess I do now, but that's a long story for later.
Yeah.
I've always happily paid the $10 to $25, whatever it is, for ride along, because it's like I don't have a fucking blast, and then like I'm not gonna go sit in these cars with people that I either respect or know really well, and sit there and just bullshit and make fun of other drivers while we sit on the grid waiting to go out. Like, fucking worth every. I've spent more on cheeseburgers than I have on ride-alongs. Like, put it in perspective.
Yeah, like, I mean, as a photographer, like, you know, if Jordan from Salt City said, hey, man, can you send me some photos? I've sent him some photos for him to use for stuff. Like, I will gladly do that. Anybody else, if they're just like, hey, man, send me some photos, I'm just like, yeah, there's a fee associated with this. Because as someone who, I mean, the stuff I do, I take pictures and I put them on the internet. That is, my work has become so drastically devalued because a lot of other people do the same damn thing, you know? So now it is a kind of a crowded place, but like, you know, if Jordan wants photos, I'll gladly send him photos, no charge, because, you know, he hooks me up, lets me do stuff that other people don't get to do. Matt and Dave from NASA, Utah, you know, I sent them a grip of photos a few years ago, and I'm going to, you know, hopefully this season, just, you know, keep sending them more to use to promote the thing, because, you know, we're talking about drifting, but it's also, I mean, I've seen people complain about the NASA Utah stuff. It's like, oh, $180 for a day. Why would I ever do that? I can just go drive for free. It's like, well, 1, you're on a racetrack. 2, you're getting like hour and a half, 2 hours of dedicated track time. You know, like what okay, you can go what are you going to do? Go tear ass up Big Cottonwood Canyon on a summer weekend? Have you seen how busy it is? Yeah. It's fucking wall-to-wall cars all the way up until the first Solitude parking lot. Like, go ahead, have fun doing that spirited drive. It's not 2004 anymore, man. We can't do that shit.
No, it's...
So, like, I understand, like, we're not saying don't give money to restore these things that are important to you, you know, like Ebisu, you know, like if something happens to, you know, a racetrack that is near and dear to your heart or something else, you know, God, I remember those people who went and rescued Haraguchi's FC, you know, and tried to get that thing back off the ground, and that shit went nowhere. So, yeah, but I mean, like, if it means something to you, do that. But also at the same time, you can't do that while also pissing and moaning that your local scene is terrible and that events cost too much and this, that, and the other, because as like I'll bring it up again, like with skateboarding, like skateboarding, music scene, whatever, your local scene is only as good as you make it. So it's one of those, like, if you're just going to sit and complain, if you're going to piss and moan about everything, just like, oh, there are no spots to skate around here, this place fucking sucks. Go get a couple bags of concrete. Go get some fucking rocks. Go pour yourself a fucking spot, dude.
I'm going to piss off a lot of people by what I'm about to say, because there's a certain driver who, may rest in peace, he committed suicide, a certain drifter, who's an absolute jerk. Jake Pasamato. He lived in Utah, and he treated me and several other drifters like absolute garbage. And I never once saw him out at a local event because he talked about how terrible the drift scene is in Utah. And instead, you know what he would do? He would go drive all the way up to the PNW, the Pacific Northwest, to go drift. And he never put in the time or any type of effort into the local scene in Utah, which blew my mind because I absolutely love the scene in Utah. I still do. It's one of the best drift scenes I've ever experienced. And so, like, that just blew my mind. He was such a jerk. But then I look at the people who talk so positively about him up in the Pacific Northwest, and it blows my mind. They talk about how he made such an impact, but there are so many people who are like, "Are you kidding me? Like, that dude was such a jerk to me." And as much as, I wish he was still alive because he had a rad car and seemed like a rad driver and could be a rad dude. He also never supported the local scene in Utah when he lived here, that I saw anyway. I could be totally wrong because that was also when I was fresh to drifting, but it still was like, it frustrated me, and it still does, obviously. It still gets under my skin all these years later.
Yeah, it's dudes like that. I mean, God rest his soul, but at the same time, like, you can be sad somebody's gone and also point out the fact that they were kind of a fucking cock. So, like, you can be sad and also not like them. It's the great thing about being human. You can hold more than one thought and feeling in your head at any given time. It's fucking wonderful.
I've upset a lot of people on the internet, and I just like, after I've made a couple comments of like somebody asked if they had made his car in Assetto Corsa, and I was like, why? I was like, rest in peace, but dude was a jerk. And then I got like flamed, and I was like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
Well, so back stepping a little bit here.
Yeah.
Let's back away from the flames here.
Yeah, let's do that.
I feel like some of these people who like don't appreciate what drifting is, take it for like, don't appreciate like the local scene. These things are people who are what's the word? I had this great whole like massive story in my head, and I just fucked it.
Yeah, I feel like I might know where you're going, so I'm going to start talking. And if this jogs your memory, just feel free to jump in and I'll get out of the way. No, a lot of these people who are complaining right now, they are either transplants from someplace where, like California, where it's not just one scene, it is a fucking like, there are multiple scenes because California, fun fact, takes up 2/3 of the continental U.S. Western seaboard. So it's fucking huge. It's not exactly like, like from San Francisco to L.A. is about the same distance from, I think, here in Salt Lake to either like St. George or Vegas. Like, it is a fucking trek to get from one to the other. So there's not a lot of, And
it's highly populated.
Yeah.
You got tons and tons of drivers. And you've got several different tracks, and so that's how you get all these different scenes in this one area. Whereas in Utah, there's one scene, one drift scene, one track.
Yeah. Northern Utah, 2 million people, one track. Mm-hmm. I mean, fucking the LA area is like 8 million people, and there's a grip of tracks within. I mean, not necessarily like fucking LA is not like lousy with them, but I mean, there are plenty of places for you to go drive. Whereas us, it's you're either squidding around in a fucking parking lot or loading dock area. Shout out to the king of the streets, Nick Nengus, or you're going out to UMC. Like, there's no in between.
So I feel like a lot of these people who are bitching about like the local scenes are people who don't really appreciate where it's come from. Like, I feel like a lot of I'm pretty blessed to have opportunities to talk to people like you guys, people who've been around in the scenes for. I was in diapers basically when you guys started being part of these scenes. But like the people who are bitching and stuff are people who don't understand the culture and where this has come from and how far not only the culture itself has grown, but how far our scene has grown. Like I've seen photos from like back at the RMR days when it was like 14 drivers and like half of them are just like absolute shit boxes because that's what people could afford back then.
Oh, dude, I remember there was like a despair drift demo, and like instantly at the beginning, I think William Vincent drove into the fucking wall and bent his Corolla, so he was fucking done. But it was like Mikey, Brandon, somebody else, and then Tanner Bear came over from Nevada, and then
Stucky.
Stucky was there. Yeah, Stucky was there. And then, I remember everything was going great. And then Tanner Bear, like his fucking engine took a shit and he proceeded to just drive around the whole fucking thing. So they had to stop and clean up everything for about 4 or 5 hours. Ruined this. So it was
like the UMC relationship when that one got ruined for drifting years ago, went back to his MMP, where the drifters wanted to come out, right? And they said, okay, they were okay with it. Okay, make sure you got a helmet and stuff, whatever. And so what I ended up doing, like, I think that it was... I'm trying to remember because this was a little bit before my time because I came into drifting right when Jason Smith helped reestablish the drifter relationship with Miller Motorsports Park. But it was like, I think it was at a wide open Wednesday. They said no drifting, but they still came out and drifted, wore like softball helmets from like Big Five. And had somebody hanging out the window waving their arms around as they're going around the track.
Yeah, I remember Mikey and Brando showed up and they were just drifting. And it was just like I was standing next to a corner worker, and he immediately called it in. And I'm just like, well, that was fun. Like that was real worth it.
And now look at Brandon. I mean, he went, he competed in Formula D. He's in Drift Week, and he's, his shop is doing really well. Look at where he's come from. He's come so far. And if that's not a testament to how far the local drift scene has come in Utah, I don't know what is.
Yeah, but for real though, because it was just like for a while it was just Brandon, and like that was it. And now it's just like we have a bunch of good dudes. I mean, they're not particularly super local, but I mean, shout out to the Southern Utah guys like Blaze and Chase. And,
I love that those guys come up for all the events.
Oh, are you kidding me? I fucking love it. When I day.
Yeah, I mean, when I was out there, back in what was that, October? Yeah, when I rented Brandon's car, it was so exciting to me because I pull up and like my jaw dropped as I saw how many drivers there were. And I went and I talked to Hadlock, and I went and I talked to Jordan, and I'm like, is this typical? They're like, yeah, this is about what we normally get now. And I'm like, this is huge. This is so much bigger than when I was drifting there, however 6 years ago. And it just blew my mind to see how big the scene is now. And it's just so exciting to me. So when somebody refuses to pay the $100 to come out to UMC because they can go skid around in the parking lot for free where they could get, the cops called on them.
Yeah. Or
they're sliding one corner. They think they're drifting, but they're just sliding one corner, which is not.
Yeah. Or my favorite is just like, oh, well, back in California, it was only like $50 and I'd get to drive all day. It's like, well, fuck off and move back, dude.
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is talking shit. Like, I mean, either build this thing up or fuck off home. I don't care what you do.
And I can't speak for some of these other communities. I bet Devin would have more insight than I would. But like, I felt like the Salt Lake City communities were the like most tight knit like family communities there are out there. Like everyone knows everybody. Like, you can walk in the pit and like everyone's waving and saying hi. Like we were talking with Bobby 5 weeks ago about how like the 2-day events, like it just everyone's getting fucking everyone's having a good time.
The video I still need to make that I was working on that I talked about last time, the motorsports and mental health. One of the key points I wanted to bring up, or that I'm going to bring up, and this is one of the reasons why I love drifting, is the drift community. And I have a point I need to bring up Jacob Bastian in a minute because I got to apologize to him. But the drift community in Utah, when I got involved with drifting is when I was severely depressed, like the lowest point of my life. And I was just looking for something. And I, that's when I bought my 8.6 and I was just looking, I had my 8.6 for about a year and I kind of wanted to get into drifting, but I hadn't done anything yet. And then, I hit this major depression. I was in a really rough spot and I went out and volunteered at an event and I made some incredible lifelong friends and mentors, and I still have a picture up on my wall from that first season of everybody sitting there at the track. That I don't remember who took the picture, but I have this picture off my wall because it is all the drivers, the couple of media guys, everybody there just smiling. And honestly, the drift community in Utah is so great because I do feel like it is a family, and that helped me when I was in this time of need, and it was a huge part of me, coming back from the brink and coming back from a really, really rough spot and being able to be somewhat normal. And so, it's the drift scene in Utah is absolutely incredible. The community is incredible. And it was funny, like, so Jacob, so Jake's been doing a bunch of autocross stuff, right? And he repurposed a meme that was from one drift organization out here that, was talking about, it was a poor meme, from them trying to badmouth other organizations. Here, come to us and we'll teach you the right stuff or whatever, and he repurposed it and forgot to like wipe out like drift scene. And so it was this, drift scene, and here's all this negative stuff. And then it was like Utah SCCA, like welcoming like a family. And I was like, how dare you talk bad about my drifters? How you dare you talk bad about my family? He ended up deleting it because he didn't mean that, right?
Yeah,
He just wanted to say like he loved how awesome the Utah SCCA organization and community is, and they totally are. I've made some great friends through autocrossing too. So it was. Sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to go off on you like that, but the drift community in Utah holds a special place in my heart. I know it holds a special place in his heart too. I know that he was totally innocent, wasn't trying to be a jerk. So sorry about freaking out on you, man. But yeah, the drift scene in Utah is just absolutely incredible. It really is.
Yeah, like the drift scene. Even just like the regular the track scene. I love going out to the NASA days. And it's one of those, there are like cliques and everything, but that just kind of comes up because certain people, like the Spec Z guys tend to garage together, Spec Miata guys tend to garage together, the people who can afford it, they're up in the GP garages, they're the people with the team garages. So, it's kind of, and then there are the lunatics out there with the fucking pop-up trailer that they towed behind their fucking track day car because that's how you do it sometimes. But yeah, it's... I love going out there because everybody's just like, hey man, how you been? What's up? Everything good? I've been going through some shit recently, and a lot of the people who've come out and just been like, hey man, are you okay? They've been car people I've met just going to meets and shows, and we become friends. Drift people, and the NASA people up from out at the track. So it's one of those like, the same can be said about any scene. Like there are dickheads that you just want to fight. It's the principle of the thing.
I understand on a different level, Mike.
Oh yeah, no, man.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When I was looking for a place, when I found drifting and when that kind of took a hold of my life, I was a Subaru kid first, so. Autocross, road racing.
Kid?
Yeah, dude.
I
know, right? So,
hey, Zach, don't you have to go hit?
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah. So I was a Subaru kid, and so a lot of those guys were into autocross and road racing, and rallycross and all that stuff. And I started hanging out with those groups. And man, I tell you what, like for me, I found a lot of negativity in there, and it was weird, and I didn't like it because one of the good examples I have is when Life Motorsports came to Michigan for the speed ring, and I came out there to go hang out with them because Jose was there, and I wanted to hang out with my buddies, and it was super cool, hanging out with Cole and stuff. But then they caught fire, and a bunch of the other teams came over and were like, "Oh, you guys are out now that you caught fire, huh?" And they're all excited about it, and Cole's like, "Oh no, we got the parts coming, we're gonna fix it," and they're like, "Dang it!" and they're mad about it. They were happy that they caught fire, and they're mad they were going to fix it. Whereas in drifting, you know what happens? Somebody catches fire. Everybody else comes over with their fire extinguisher. Hang on. Let me go see. I might have a spare wiring harness for some reason in my box of parts. I think I do. Let me go see. Oh, what else do you need? Oh, was that an oil light? I think I've got 6 of those. And other drivers come together. Like when I first got started into drifting, that's exactly what happened in Utah. I didn't have the parts to get my car running, and people were like, hang on, my car isn't running either. Here, you haven't drifted all year. Let me take this part off of my car so you can have it to go drive this weekend. Like, man, that's so incredible.
I know this is like a played out analogy, but like the whole like Fast and Furious family thing really does apply for like the drift community. I don't remember what my first. Okay, so how I got into the drift community was actually for RMR Midnight Drags, and I just remember being like, drag racing's cool. What the fuck is happening in the oval behind us? And we ended up walking down, and I met Dave Raleigh, and then I was like, this dude's like super weird but super cool. And then I think I ended up going to Midnight Drags, but for the drift, like I would because they would do like every other week where like they'd be like every other event they would be drifting. So I'd only go to the ones where there was drifting going on.
Yeah,
and then like everyone was so nice. Like, I remember my first ride along with Brandon Whitnick, and he was just like, "You ever been in a drift car before? Fucking hop in! Let's hit the wall our first run." I'm like, "Cool, I'm gonna fucking shit myself."
Yeah, dude, it's so like the scene here is one of those. It's like, yeah, were there times where they were just kind of like shitty people? Yeah, but they tend to just excuse themselves from the thing because nobody wants that negativity.
They kind of filter in and out.
Yeah, they come and they go. I mean, shit. Like I'm looking at YouTube right now. Kit just posted his he's got the Sen Samurai YouTube page going, where his what the hell is it? Yeah, the Slow Gear Sendcast. That's where that's gonna be. They just posted that. Like, dude, people miss the shit out of Kit. I know I miss the shit out of my problematic Vietnamese baby.
I've met him twice and I miss him.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And for him, wasn't his story pretty similar to Devin's? Where it's just like, I don't know, like I just wasn't doing great, and then I just saw on Facebook like this like drift thing on like a Utah Weekend car meet page, and I was like, fuck it, can I go help out? And then all of a sudden he's like the fucking prodigy. He's like the star child of the Solid State drift community.
Like
he is everybody's child. Everybody in the drift community is their child.
Yes, he is. He's our war baby. That's exactly what he is.
It takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, God.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean he like acts like a child. I mean like we all care for him like he is our child.
I think it takes the entire community to raise kids.
This is true. And man, some of the people God love everybody in the scene, but man, some of us, we don't need children right now. That's the last thing we need. We can barely take care of ourselves. What are we talking about here?
We're all drifting for a reason. It's all self-help for something.
Poor money management, terrible interpersonal relationship skills, terrible mental health. Welcome to the drift scene.
Yep.
Some sort of addiction of something.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, hold on. Someone's giving me a compliment here.
Wow, your channel has that video with about 1 million views. And this, wow, we are 3 watching here. Maybe also you are one of us. Is that real? Wow. So that all about cars? Yes, it is.
I have done something with my life.
Mavioni, Baguette. This is mostly about cars. It's about some other stuff too.
What video with the 1 million views? What is that?
I have a video. The Isetta Supra has like 890,000 views right now.
Hot damn.
It's my claim to fame.
Attaboy.
There you go.
It is.
I'm gonna die with that fame on my shoulders.
That's how it's gonna be.
Is that a Thupra guy?
No. Is that a Supra?
There it is. Oh man.
Oh.
And this is one of those things. Zach would not be around if he did not awkwardly, gregariously come up to me at the last RMR2 day.
Yep, because it was all Dave's fault. Honestly, I feel like Dave is to blame for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, Dave's skating right now real easy. Well, he's not skating, nor is it real easy for him. Shout out to Dave. We're all pulling for you, buddy.
You're in thoughts and prayers in odd ways.
Yep, just.
I love the fact that, hold on, sorry, to talk about this guy who's following us, like, I love the fact that like a bunch of people have probably subscribed to our channel and like maybe hit like the bell icon and they're getting notified of this podcast once a week.
Oh man, this is how it's going, baby. This is how we do it. This is, man, here I am thinking like game streaming multiple nights a week and talking about nerdy shit. That's going to get me. Don't you know I really searched for is that a Supra and your video is recommended.
Oh yeah, it has like a quarter of the views that the actual Zeta Super video has. Like we're up there, home. Check it out.
Yeah,
I like how
we
this has
go.
just changed into like one of. So that's how it's going.
this is taking a turn. Thank you for showing up and just unintentionally grabbing the wheel.
Yes, thank you, Mavioni. I don't know how to say that.
I'm just calling him the bread man.
The bread man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Hello, Ismael Garcia.
Hello.
okay,
Yeah.
so is that a Super has 6 million views? Some bullshit about is that a Super compilation video? One that has 1.1 million views, and then our video.
All right, look at that.
There it is.
Right.
There it is. Perfect.
So I guess to get back on topic here. So
Thank you.
Yes, I'm aware it is a baguette. I said baguette earlier in the evening.
so the to get back on topic of this whole Ebisu debacle.
Yeah. I think here's I'm going to try to sum it up, and guys, feel free to add or subtract things from this. All right. So it is like we're not saying don't contribute to any of these funds trying to get Ebisu back up and running, because Devin has a car there and he's been trying to go there for some time. I would like to go there because, I mean, it's a racetrack with a zoo, and some of my favorite videos, not just like on track stuff, but also kind of capturing like the off track stuff, have been shot there. But at the same time, be able to take a step back and kind of take inventory of all the things that you've said. And if you said something like, well, I'm not going to your event because it's too expensive. Events back in my hometown were much cheaper. I'm not paying, like if you say anything like it's too expensive to go support my local scene, like if it could be boiled down, like, somebody who went to college for writing. Hi, that's me. Like you send me some of the things that you said and I will boil it down to what you actually meant, because that is what collegiate level writing is.
So
but yeah.
I kind of want to expand on that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Is like if Ebisu was a person right now, it could talk. I bet it would be saying something along the lines of like, "Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Worry about what I've brought up and support me by supporting what you can go do. Support what is around you right now, and just be part of it. Go make something. Go change something that you have actual effect on, and go make it better. Go be the kit for your local scene. Like go make a difference.
Yeah, make a difference. That's honestly like one. I'm going to tell you, yes, if Ebisu does start a GoFundMe, only donate to the specific Ebisu crowdfunding thing, right?
Yes.
One. And I'm going to say, yes, please do, because as soon as they get the track fixed, well, then I can go to Ebisu and drive my car. So I'm being kind of selfish. So please go do that.
Yeah.
But also, as someone who is trying to, as someone who's a part of a drift organization that is trying to invest in the local scene, we've got this incredible opportunity to add paving at, this famous NASCAR track, Rockingham Speedway. We've got the opportunity to invest in paving. And we actually have a contract with the racetrack that we have to add a certain number of dollar amount per event. We're not making anything. Everything is going right back into the community. So please come out and support us. Otherwise, we will personally be on the hook for the dollar amount left that we don't generate revenue from our events. So come out, support your local scene, and also I'm going to be selfish and say, please go donate to Ebisu when it comes to that point. But also, it's important. I think it's also important to, if Ebisu means anything to you, I would say it's a worthwhile cause to help it get up and going. Yeah. I'm sitting here hoping that they'll do something. Right now, travel to Japan is closed for foreigners. Right, they've got the borders are closed. At some point, I'm hoping later this year, it was supposed to be in the fall this year, that was supposed to be lifted. And maybe what Ebisu will be able to do, I saw somebody bring this up on, I think, the Maximum Driftcast, was we all have skills and talents and occupations that may be beneficial in helping rebuild Ebisu. I don't know what kind of foreign regulations there are on, you know, a paver in the U.S. going to go help a paver in Japan. I don't know how all of that works with regulations and stuff, but if that's possible, man, that would be incredible to be able to go to Japan, go to Ebisu, and donate time and your skills to help rebuild the place.
Literally, like help rebuild the
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, like literally go help rebuild it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those like, yeah, we're not saying don't, but at the same time, if it's like you've badmouthed your local scene instead of trying to make it better, then, you know, whatever. But if it's one of those just like, I have $100 and my car is ready, don't sacrifice your local scene for that. Because, I mean, trust me, there are dudes in Japan, like, there are old heads out there who are just like, no, we got to where we are because we did the same. Like, we built this thing ourselves.
Yeah.
We want you to do the same thing.
Yep, that's I'm spaced on a name right now, but the main guy at Ebisu, he specifically said, like, hey, don't worry about it. Like, we're working on it. You know, we're working on it, and just, you know, we love all your support. That's great. We know what it means to you, and we appreciate hearing that. And that's pretty much what he left it at.
Yeah.
Which he's not saying we're going to need money. He's like, hey, we're evaluating everything. We'll start figuring it out. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Keep drifting. Keep supporting your local places. That's kind of what I was reading between the lines, and the translation from Japanese to English is, you guys keep doing what you're doing and keep the scene alive, which means you also need to support your local track. And if you're going to say, if you're going to badmouth your local scene, but also donate money to Ebisu, like, man, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, like I know some people who are just like, they're like, some of you are never going to go to Ebisu. I know, because some of you are legally unable to leave the country. All right. So don't give me this whole like, oh yeah, I'm going to go there someday. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're in between ankle bracelets right now. All right.
Now,
calm down.
There was something that I'm remembering now that Dave's post, and I immediately thought of was years ago. Well, not years ago, but Biggie posted something a while back when I was still friends with him on Facebook, or he was on Facebook. I don't know if he still is. I don't know.
I think he's still on Facebook, but he's not really like, he's still on Facebook, but he doesn't get on Facebook that much.
Yeah.
I see him pop up every now and again.
He posted something during F1 season one time, and it was just trashing people who watch F1 but will never actually go drive their car in a race. And here's the thing. There are spectators and there are drivers, and a lot of drivers are spectators, but some people just enjoy watching, and that is A-okay. If you're one of those people and you enjoy watching content and videos and stuff from Ebisu, it is okay to support that. But it's also great to support your local scene.
Yeah, if you've got that project that's been on jack stands for God knows how long because you're just waiting for your taxes to come in, or whatever excuse it is you've got. Hi, Austin Bates. He also Dick. We just said hi, dicks. Fuck yous. Aw, cute.
Fuck yous too.
Aw, thanks, buddy. Yeah, like if you're one of those dudes who's just like, oh, I'm just waiting to get this thing going, and then you're just like giving money to Ebisu. It's like, well, one, you need to get your car running. Two, man, like especially here in Utah, like we just have the West Paddock out at UMC, and we have barriers. We've got some of the K rails. It's cool, but I mean, we keep building trust. We keep getting more people out. We keep saying, hey, we've got enough people to like kind of rival some NASA days. Let us take a shot at either the kart track or the big track.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to let us do that. And that's just like, that's the next step. Like,
there are enough good drivers in Utah that even if you did like I would say probably the best way to start something like that. So Jordan, if you're listening, probably the best way to start something like that is approach the track and say, hey, we'll do an invitational only, or by approval only for our drivers. There are more than enough great drivers in Utah to be able to have a full field of cars that aren't going to be going off track and tearing up the edge of the pavement and throwing gravel everywhere and dirt dropping. There's enough good drivers in Utah to be able to have a solid event like that where you don't have those kinds of issues.
Yeah. Like it's one of those, like, I know Jordan's probably got something up his sleeve.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah,
I keep
so,
meaning to
like-
touch base with him because I've
Yeah, like,
learned
we're-
a bunch. But yeah,
Yeah, like we're just saying stuff, but yeah, we know he's got something going on. But yeah, no, like if you don't support your local scene, it's only ever going to be what it is, you know. So do that, and then if you're able to, and when Ebisu finally starts an official GoFundMe, don't just send it to fucking JDM Weeb Boy 420 or whatever,
yeah.
or Drift Cargo Skirt, on Venmo or whatever. Don't just send him money because he says he's gonna send it off to them. Like, don't do that.
Like all the Pray for Japan things after the first earthquake, tsunami stuff. Like most of that didn't go to Japan.
So all of these random YouTube viewers we have right now,
Yeah.
no matter what motorsports you're in, whether it be drifting or anything, go support your local stuff.
Yes. Even if it's not motorsports. I mean, like, if you're just complaining that nobody has like cool cars around you and Cars and Coffee is all domestic or all Euro or all JDM, well, man, get out there and take your clapped out Civic or take your really nice 240 or your nice GTI. Yeah, like, get out there, and then other people will see this and be like, oh, I didn't know that dude was here. And then they'll start showing up. And then you'll move from the front parking lot of the Beans and Brew to the back parking lot. And then it'll get too big. And then you'll get kicked out by the corporate office park that you're in the parking lot of because people don't understand how to treat property with respect.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Man, I wasn't even in Utah when that happened. I still boiled my blood, man.
Dude, I was there when it happened.
Man,
I watched the ambulance leave.
Dude, it's one of those. It's like, man, like, listen, there are going to be growing pains, but like, if you don't get out there, if you don't go out to the shows, if you don't go out to the meets, if you don't go out to the track days, if you don't go out to the drift events, if you don't go out to the autocross, whatever it is, you're always going to complain that the seed's, not great, that it's terrible. But all you're doing is just like, you're just trying. It's so easy to condemn, but so hard to create. And I know it's very hard to create because I've been creating for Cam for 10 years and I've been doing all sorts of other stuff for so very long. And it is very hard to get out there and actually like build something from seemingly nothing, but it is so worth it. Like right now, we had some dude calling us dicks and then saying, fuck you. And then we have Mavioni, the madman of baguettes, saying, I think the same. Local scene is more important because to get them more popular to participate in some world stuff.
That's some truth right there.
There it is. Yeah, I mean,
When I first came out here to the Carolinas, the drift scene here was different than what I experienced, right? It was a lot more competition oriented because it's the South and people are used to circle track racing and dirt track racing and all that stuff. So it was a totally different kind of scene. And me and a couple of the guys that aren't from here were like, this is weird. This is not what drifting is to us. And some of them just kind of disappear. They're like, man, I don't like this. I'm going to go elsewhere. And so instead of continuing to support these events, they end up driving like 6 hours to go to Virginia to go drive. Yeah. And it was like, why, like, what is that cliche saying? Be the change you want it to be.
Be the change in the world you want to see.
And honestly, I stuck around and I said, no, you know what? There's the potential here. I've met tons of great people, and I don't mean to say that the cars or the drift scene here was bad at all. It was just different. But I wanted to see it be a tighter knit community. I wanted to see the positivity and that kind of family environment that I was used to out in Utah. And so that's what I tried to do. And it was really weird. I actually upset a couple people by doing it, but
it's one of those you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs.
Yeah. And now here I am. I've been in the drift scene in the Carolinas for a couple of years, and now I'm involved in the organization because they saw the passion I have for drifting and the passion I have for the community. So it just goes to show, man, bring that passion out, and you'll be able to make changes, and you'll be able to help improve and grow your local scene.
Yeah. So there we go.
Devin, do you want to end on answering this question?
Yes. Yeah, we should answer this.
Yes, let's. Okay, yeah, you guys go first, and then I'm going to round it out. I'm going to really drop the fucking hammer.
Devin, I'll let you go first. You by far have the coolest car.
So, Ismail, I am one of those weird old Toyota guys. I have 3 AE86s. And I also have a Focus ST. And I've had a bunch of Subarus and stuff. But yeah, I have an 8.6 addiction. So all of the one of them is a parts car. The other two, one of them is my drift car. One of them is my resto mod. And everything is Beams 3SGE powered in this house because that's how I roll.
I daily a Tacoma that is falling apart best I can fucking fix it, which is a odd sentence to say about Tacoma. And then I have a 2001 Subaru Legacy with an EZ30 flat six swapped into it in a rear-wheel drive transmission that somehow runs better than my Tacoma could. It doesn't fucking misfire.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a '94 Thunder Gray Integra LS with the confetti interior. I've had a 2012 GTI. I've had an A70 Supra Turbo.
Oh fuck off! You gotta say all the cool cars you had. Like I could go back. I had some
Oh yeah, no. Now currently I'm driving a Mazda 5, which is like a Mazda 3 with a backpack and sliding doors because I'm desperately trying to get my shit together and be financially solvent here.
That's
So
stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like, listen, this is what you see behind you is great, but it's also this I'm not long for this space here, so that's why I'm driving the cheap ass minivan. So there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
This was a
Well,
good
yeah,
episode.
it has been. Devin, thank you for joining us. As you can see, he's at Dr. Garage on Instagram. Check out Dr. Garage on YouTube. Just crested the 1,000 subscriber mark.
Woohoo! Yep,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, check out MB Drift. That is Myrtle Beach Drift, if I am correct, right?
Yep, well, used to be
whatever.
Myrtle Beach. Now it's just at MB Drift on everything, or MB
There it
Drift
is.
Series, because we're not in Myrtle Beach anymore because the Speedway closed.
Yeah. So just MB Drift. There
Yep.
it is. Zach Lords. He's at Zach Lords 35 mm, which stands for millimeter, because he shoots a lot of pictures and shoots stuff on film. There it is. See, there's all that.
I post some car stuff, some camping stuff. I'm trying to be a photojournalist.
There you go. Trying to document the world around you. That's cool, Ishmael. His dad has a Dodge Demon. That is very cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. I am Mike. I have my cooking channel, The Bowl is Too Small, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. I occasionally put stuff up there when I am cooking and I actually have time to plan stuff out. I also have my nerdy channel at Nerding for Beginners. We have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday. It is a D&D playthrough podcast. It is me. It is friend of the program, Brandon Kuhn, Glenn Hecht, and AJ Glassmacher. That is currently who we've got. We're going to have some guests on, specifically next month. We're going to have friend of the program, Ben Allred.
I've been here for so long.
I know. It's been a minute, but yeah. We do some game streaming. We do Skyrim on Sundays, or I do Skyrim on Sundays. Vanilla Skyrim, just run around in a broken-ass game, because that's how you do it. We have Twitch Thursday, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Figure it out on your own, where we play a different game each week. Usually me and the aforementioned people, plus occasionally Kit and, whoever else we can get on. This week, we're going to be doing some stuff in Forza 7 for a couple of hours, so check that out. Nerding for Beginners on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We are in all of those places. Just search for Nerding for Beginners and you'll find us. The podcast, Nerding for Beginners, available wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday. And check out this year's podcast, Cam Shenanigans, wherever you get your podcasts. Like, rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. Just go ahead and blare it at work. No headphones. Just let it happen. Live your truth. Just let the people know who you really are, God only knows what's going to happen. And, support our sponsor, Hustle Energy, at hustle.energy on the social medias. It's quality stuff. I do enjoy it. And, anything else we need to promote or say? No?
I just love you guys. I want you guys to know.
We love you too, Zach.
Yeah. Love you too. And love you guys out there. Appreciate it. And we will be back next week for another rousing episode, or maybe more rant-filled. I don't know. Thanks, Fabione. Thank you, everybody. Till next week. Good night.
Bye.
There it is.